Welcome to a brand new episode of the Traders Podcast. I am Jeremy Ritz, owner of Courage Pays Better Than Fear Trading, and today I'm holding a pumpkin because it's the start of fall. That's not the reason why we are here. We are here today because we have a special guest on the show, and one of the coolest things about trading is meeting other traders who are doing the same thing, who are experiencing the highs, the lows of the markets, who have insight into this world of the stock market, who live it every day. And today's guest, Tony Pawlak, CEO, owner of Real Life Trading, and just a great human being, sits down with me for a decent period of time to talk about his story. And I'm here to tell you, it's amazing. If you're looking for a source of inspiration, if you're struggling in your trading, or if you're questioning if this is right for you, then I have no question, no doubt that Tony's story can help you. So stay tuned, dig in, get ready. This is going to be amazing. And before we get started, don't forget that we are running the free Courage Pays Better Than Fear Beginner Trading Bootcamp September 15th, 16th, 17th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration link is down below. Make sure you sign up if you haven't already. And get your popcorn ready, and let's hear from Tony Pawlak. Ladies and gentlemen, what a treat that we have here today. None other than Tony Pawlak, owner and CEO of Real Life Trading. Tony, welcome to the show. I'm super pumped about this interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. As soon as you reached out, I was like, let's do this for sure. No questions asked.
Awesome. It's been a fun day in the markets here so far. We'll get into that, talking about where we are with the trend. We got the unemployment rate today.
Yeah.
But one thing about you, Tony, I know when I was starting out trading, I watched your bio video, and you want to talk about a trader who's been through the crucible and who's come out thriving, not just surviving. That was something that really spoke to me starting out, just learning from someone who experienced losses and then had to pick themselves back up. And then the story didn't end there. There were more losses, but you just kept getting up. You kept fighting. You kept pushing. If you could talk about that and how you made it out of that and you persevered. And I know that's a broad question, but what lessons do you have for aspiring traders?
Yeah, really, the number one thing to succeed in trading is to simply have the desire to stand back up. If you can commit that nothing will bring you down, no matter how low I got. It was low. For those that don't know my story, I quit my job to trade full time and I took $30,000. I was like, I'll be a millionaire in a month. And I lost it all in a month. And then I started to take out like our life savings and put that in there. That was gone like weeks. And then now that we're basically got nothing, I start taking out credit cards and loans. And I was in pretty deep. And I remember I took out this loan this one time. It was like a $20,000 loan, and I lost it in a week trying to unravel a credit spread. I was like, if this works, I'll make 10 grand. And of course, if it doesn't work, I'm going to lose 20 in 2 seconds too. That's exactly what happened. And I just remember like the lowest of low I could ever get to. I don't think I've ever been lower in my life. And then all of a sudden the thought hit, I have to turn around and go tell my wife that money that was supposed to get us through that, like, I know how to trade now, I can do this. I just lost, and it had only been like a week. And like, it just the pit in my stomach, like that low point, like I just literally put my head down. I just started crying. It had beat me up so bad. I don't know, but I just remember that point of I stood back up. I went and talked to my wife. That wasn't a fun conversation. And she's amazing. I literally was like, I'll go get another job if you want me to. And she's like, no. I just feel like this is what we're supposed to do. So stand back up and let's go. And she's amazing. I wouldn't be here without her, to be honest. I probably would have quit. But the key to success in anything in life, but especially trading, is to stand back up. And as long as you can keep on going, and as long as you can realize that the law of opposition works, no matter how bad something is, there has to be something good that comes right alongside with it. So I realized that as the worst of the worst also had right alongside of it the best of the best if I just opened my eyes and allowed myself to see it. And so in that moment, I was like, I am primed right now to learn something that's going to change my life. And that's exactly what I did. First off, I learned not to unravel a spread and do it that way and try to make a quick buck. But there was so much more on top of it that I learned as well. And that's something that trading taught me, right? Trading is just simply a mirror that reflects
Mhm.
your own best or worst version back at yourself. It shows you your weaknesses more than anything else will that I've ever seen in this world because it's right in front of you. Your weaknesses are right in front of you. If you're not patient, you're going to struggle. If you're not whatever, the markets are going to show it very quickly. And that's why I think most people fail is because they don't want to accept that they have weaknesses. They don't want to face them, or else they would have already gone through it in their life.
Yeah.
They're like keep burying it under the mattress, and the markets are like, no, it's I'm putting it in front of your face every day.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to accept that and stand up. And so that's why I'm here. I'm not here because I'm like super smart and everything. I'm here because I simply refuse to quit. I kept finding a way, and then I learned every time I fell down and I
Wow.
applied that knowledge. That was it. So that was my long rant to answer with 2 cents of just stand up and
Yeah.
keep going, and you will get it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm smiling because I could relate to a lot of what you had to say there. But just going back to those dark moments
Yeah.
and just to help traders who are starting out in terms of what not to do, what were some of those things that characterize your early trading that put you in the position where you had that hole to climb out of and so that
Yeah.
they can avoid them?
Yeah. Like I knew how to trade. And that's what was the most frustrating thing is I knew how to trade, but I was just losing money hand over fist. It had more to do with my emotional control. So your P&L is going to be directly related to your emotional control. And my emotions at that time were pressure. I now trading before it was just on the side. Like I
Hmm.
had a job paying my bills, and so I was successful. As soon as I was like, I've got to make 5 grand in 2 weeks, I started to shift my mindset to I have to make money, and I started to focus on the money instead of focusing on the process, instead of focusing on a great trade setup. And as soon as I started to skew that focus, everything went bad. And so it was that pressure of having to now make money that changed the process that had success before to no longer seeing success. And it took me a while to figure that out, a little bit of money to figure that out. But getting back to that process and being like, yes, I know I need to make money right now. But me trying to make money is not going to make me money in the markets. That's going to be me forcing a trade. That's going to be me finding a trade. When the best trades, the trades that I make money on are the ones that are just obvious. It's the ones that I've been planning for days. Or if it's a day trade, it's the one I've been planning since the market opened. If we get to here, if we do this, whatever, I'm prepared for it.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, it's obvious. And those tend to be the best winning trades. And those are the ones that I followed the process on. And that's what made me money. And so it's like I had to stop trying to make money and I had to start trying to find great trades and be a great trader. And the money was a side effect of all of that. And so, again, it took me a long time to figure out that little sentence that I just told you in 10 seconds. But like that was the key to getting through those low points was just identifying the problem, understanding there's a solution to every problem, and then having a clear enough lens to be able to see it and just like literally I would just write out my problems. This is what I need to do. This is what I'm struggling with. And then I wouldn't leave until I figured out a solution to that problem. So I'd sit there all day, all night, 4 a.m. And I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I need to stop trying to do this. And I need to go back to this. And yeah, it was a fun journey, but those low points, they changed my life and they showed me who I was.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And was it an immediate process, that shift from what characterized your trading back during the losses, or was it something that happened gradually over time that you had to consistently work on it till you got to the point where you were emotionally in control and disciplined?
Yeah, it was a gradual process. I would say I had certain moments that really skipped ahead and brought me way faster than normal, but it still was a gradual process. And the key that I learned, so here's the key to control emotions. Let's just dive into this. Because again, your P&L, your results are related to your emotional control. So how do you control your emotions? I try to just force my will on it. I was like, I will be disciplined today. I'm going to be overcoming this fear. I'm going to be, and it would work until I had a weakness, or until I had a low point, or until I was tired, or until I was stressed beyond, you're right, or when things were good. And then I let my
Mhm.
guard down and then I'd fall apart. And so I realized that the key to emotional control is to focus on what the truth actually is. Like I realized that my emotions were based off of a truth. I believe something, and that's what caused emotions to come. I believe that if I failed at trading, I would never be able to trade full time again. I don't know where that came from, but like I lived it. This is my
Hmm.
one and only shot. And it brought in so much pressure that I can't lose, I can't do this. Like I have to succeed because I want to trade so bad full time. And it wasn't until I sat back and I was like, let's look at this truth. There's no truth to that. I can go get another job, save up some more money, and come back and try trading again. Like, why is this my one and only lifetime shot? And so the truths that we put in front of us, the truths that we live by, are the things that determine our beliefs. And our beliefs are going to start dictating those emotions. And so instead of trying to overcome the emotions, which you can do for a period of time, but it's going to come back and get you eventually, I stopped trying to control them and I started to figure out why I'm having those emotions in the first place. And that would always lead back to a certain belief. If I lose on this trade, I'm a failure. No, like I can't control the markets. My job is not to win and lose. Like my job is to put an edge on and see what happens. And if it does lose, I lose small. If it's winning, I let it win big. That's my only job. That's the only thing I can control, right? And so
Yeah.
like the truth behind it is I lose all the time and I'm very successful because if you're only losing, let's say $100 when you're wrong, but you're making $1,000 when you're right, and you got a 50% win rate, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that your loss is you're not losing $2,000 if you're making 1,000 when you're right.
Yeah.
And so it's again the truth. What truths are you believing? Most people believe if they lose on a trade, they're a bad trader. Like they're doing something wrong, the strategy's broken. And so that causes emotions to come in for a truth that's not even real. And so I would start there for sure on the emotional control. And it's a gradual climb, but just knowing that one tip is going to put you light years ahead of where I was. What took me a long years to figure out,
Mhm.
you can start applying right now for sure and start seeing that difference in your trading.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's all mathematics and probabilities. And it's not that the market's out to get you or doesn't like you or any, it acts independently and it's going to be illogical, do what it wants to do. But you're right. 50% winning trades. If you're maximizing your winners and you're cutting your losers, that's the path to profitability. It sounds easier to say it out loud for someone
Yeah.
who's in the process, but it's the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's that
Yeah.
truth. It's those beliefs that set everyone up for failure. They get so scared to lose money. Again, another thing is I was meeting with a student the other day and he's money is so hard to get. Like wins are so hard to get. It's so easy to lose on. And we went over his trades and he literally had lost the same amount as he had won. And
Hmm.
he's like, I did not think there's no way. I was like, yeah, we went over your last 80 trades and over the last year. And it's like literally like almost neck and neck. It was like 49 and 50, like it was just right there. But he swore he lost way more than he won. And that just his emotions made him skew that way. He held on to losers way more and winners he let go of. And so of course those scars stick with you. And yeah, it's crazy when you start to see the truth behind it and you just again, you have to start working on yourself. Like the key is you've got to start overcoming your own beliefs, your own self, and become your best version every single day. The markets require me to be my best self every day. And that's why I love trading. My mentor, Jeremy Newsom, he's always out there climbing Mount Everest every weekend because as soon as his brain says he can't do something, he's like, I got to go do it now.
Yeah.
He's got to push himself. And trading was the caveat that led to that kind of thinking because that's the type of thinking that's going to give you millions of dollars in the markets is by facing your fears, by facing those things that your brain says you couldn't do
Yeah.
and constantly pushing that envelope. So it's an amazing blessing. It's a journey, and the ones that succeed are the ones that can give into that a little bit more and let go of their egos and just learn and accept where they're at and go forward. So it's a trading changed me into a completely different person. Like I was 10 years ago, I was a completely different person than I am right now. I remember throwing a fit over like a $3 charge at a restaurant. Like money was so hard to me back then.
Yeah.
And the difference that I have now and that's all because of trading and what I've learned. Yeah, it's always a crazy journey and it always will be for everyone, but enjoy it because
Yeah.
it'll be your best self in the end.
It's a blast, that's for sure. If you could hang in there and stick through the dark times, there are definitely rewards on the other side. And we've talked the majority so far here about the psychology, the emotions of trading, but let's talk a little bit about the technicals. And if
Yeah.
you were to drill down into your chart analysis, what is there one indicator that stands out above the rest that this is the first place that you're looking to help guide you with what you're going to do on a trade?
Yeah, 100%. And that is price action. So take off all indicators, take off everything and look at how the markets move. Look at the candles. Price action is the only thing that's going to show you. Price action and volume are the two things that are going to show you what's about to happen. Those are the only two leading indicators. Everything else is reacting. And so once I figured that out, things really started to leverage itself a lot more because I used to just use a big move to tell me, hey, it's bullish. And then I would get in. The problem with that is after big moves, people take their profits, right?
Hmm.
And so the people that bought earlier and in that big move, they're getting out when I was getting in. And I was always late to the party. So I had to have an extreme move in order to make my money. And those don't happen very often. So I found that when I was getting in, it would work and then just stop me out. Once I figured out price action, and I stopped relying on indicators and just focused on price action to be able to see sentiment and momentum and get my confirmations without having to have that big move come in. I could get in before the move happened with high probability, know where I'm wrong so I can cut and lose small if it didn't work out, and then ride that big move and then exit where the pros are exiting and knowing when all the noobs like I was getting in, it's like that's the time to exit. And so it shifted everything for me. And so my one piece of advice for anyone listening, focus on price action. Watch YouTube videos on price action. Focus as much as you can, learn as much as you can, because that's going to give you the clues of what's about to happen. It'll tell you when to get in before the move happens, and it'll start giving you clues to start taking your profits before it reverses and goes against you so you can lock in and actually see that return instead of being right for so long and everyone's like, I don't know when to exit. Or like all those question marks in trading lead to more emotions.
Hmm.
And having answers to those of I stay here, I do this, if it does that, then awesome. I stay in. If not, I know what levels to break, knowing when the bulls should be holding, and if they don't, I can cut instead of having to give it all back. Price action changed everything for me. Like I spent thousands and thousands of hours just focusing on that one thing, and it's still the number one thing that I use. It's the foundation of everything in my trading still to this day.
And I'm guessing that ties into the work you do with the S curve and the
Yeah.
recent highs, recent lows, and knowing those areas in terms of, hey, we're above here, we're still on that uptrend. If we break it, then we need to look for a flip. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, your higher highs in a bull market are goals. Look at the higher highs, look at the higher lows. The higher lows are going to tell you when it's starting to shift and go from bullish to bearish. The higher highs are going to tell you when the momentum's starting to leave. And so if it's failing to make those higher highs, that's your first indicator to go, hey, I need to start locking in some profits. If it's making higher highs and higher lows, keep holding. It's still strong. And so, yeah, it's for sure the S curve, that basis of what I still do to this day is a game changer for sure.
Great stuff. And then I know credit spreads are a massive part of your approach to the markets, not just the day trading and swing trading, but can you talk to the audience about how credit spreads fit into your approach and how it rounds out your entire trading plan?
Yeah, definitely. So when I was first trading full time, I wrote out my problems, right? I was like, I need a consistent income. And I wasn't consistent at all with like day trading and swing trading. And so I looked into what could I do to find more consistency. And that's when I developed this credit spread strategy. So this strategy allowed me to, think about this. It's a different way of trading. It's instead of being correct and the markets are going to go up and they're going to go up this much. That's really hard to do consistently. Now it's just as long as I'm not wrong, like as long as it stays above here, so it can do
Hmm.
whatever it wants to do. It can go higher, it can go lower, it can go sideways. I'm going to win. And that was a complete game changer for me and for thousands of others that I've taught this to because it takes away the perfection and just mathematics, like you said, it puts the mathematical edge in your favor for a 90 to 95% win rate. And then when you stack on your knowledge of price action and the S curve, so you can be on the right side of things constantly, you can go years without having any significant losses. And when they do go against me, price action gives me that early warning so I can mitigate that loss because the downside of credit spreads is the risk. You're
Hmm.
risking a lot more than you normally would with your reward. But if you can mitigate that, again, I wrote that down. What's my problem now with credit spreads? The problem is you lose, it undoes a month worth of wins. So you hardly ever lose, but when it does come, it sucks. How can I mitigate that loss? And so working through that system and that strategy has changed everything. So I recommend, especially people think you need to be advanced. I recommend this for newer traders. Of course, you got to learn how to do it, but the hardest part with newer traders is being perfect, timing up the direction and timing up the move and knowing when to get out. Credit spreads is like you no longer have to be perfect. You just have to not be completely wrong. Even if you're
Yeah.
wrong, you'll still make money, just not completely wrong. And I start teaching this to people and showing them and giving that foundation, and they start making money consistently just because of the math behind this strategy. It works. And it's still what I do to this day. Like every day, every week, I'm selling credit spreads and making a living as a full-time trader all these years afterwards. I still haven't stopped.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I almost liken credit spreads or even selling puts or selling calls, which obviously carries a lot of risk to sell calls, but it's almost like playing defense, like you said. That's the price area where the
Yeah.
stock is not expected to move or be there at expiration. And it's a different mindset and approach to trading. But like you said, I like how you pointed out that there's a higher probability, obviously, for success
Yeah.
with those types of spread, but the downside being the higher risk. But
Yeah, definitely. So mitigate the risk. And the first tip I'll give anyone that wants to do this, close out of that credit spread when it gets to your sold strike. Don't hope and wait and see if it bounces because that's where you'll start taking those max losses. If you just get out at your sold strike, you'll be down about 30 to 35% of that max loss. You can recover from that in a couple credit spreads. You
hmm,
take a max loss and it's going to set you back for a month. So
yeah,
that's my first tip, but there's a lot of things you can do. And the earlier you do it, the easier it is to mitigate the risk. But there's always ways around mitigating risk. And the second little tip is roll it.
yeah,
Don't take the loss on it. Keep selling it further away. There's risk with that. You need to do it the right way, but start diving into this a little bit more and you can get a really good idea on how to mitigate the downsides of credit spread so you can just see the plus sides. So,
yeah.
yeah, it's a game changer for sure. Anyone that wants to do that. I know in real life trading, we started doing a $200 a week challenge where I just every Monday I set up and we're still doing it to this day. I was only going to do this for a month and we've been doing this now like this year. But every Monday I just set up a trade with them. I'm like, here you go. This is what if I wanted to make $200 a week and you can scale it. But if
Hmm.
I wanted to make $200 a week, this is the credit spread I would sell. And every Monday we go live and we set it up and then they just start doing that. And they're like, I'm finally making money. I'm like, yeah, stop making trading so hard. Like this is so much easier to do with a high win rate.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really cool to see people finally being like, I just made $800 this month for the first time ever and seeing that. So it's really a fun journey to see people get credit spreads and have it click because that was my answer. I couldn't
Yeah.
figure it out when I first started. So it definitely it's a cheat code for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Great stuff there. And then let's wrap this up with taking a look at the broader markets where we are. Again, today popped to new all-time highs after the unemployment rate came in line. We got non-farm payrolls, so there's weakening in the labor market. September rate cut seems all but done. I think 80% odds now for October. How much is left in this bull run? And do you think that there's more steam here? Obviously, we know we're due for some type of correction, but the best that we could do is two to 3%.
Yeah.
But we'd just like to get your take on where we're headed, maybe the AI trade, and just some individual tickers that you're watching here over the next
Yeah.
6 to 12 months.
Yeah, definitely. Overall general markets, I do think that September, October could have some bears in it still. I think another pullback, one more pullback is going to trigger a Santa rally. Maybe we don't get it and this thing just keeps on going. Overall, I'm very bullish. I feel like the end of this year is going to close out very strong. I'm just hoping that we're going to get some bears sucking back in. I know a lot of these institutions did not participate in the last rally, and so they really want to pad their books at the end of the year. And so any major dip that is going to come in, it's going to get bought, in my opinion. So I am
Yeah.
looking to buy the dip. I'm waiting for the dip a little bit more. And if we can get that, I feel like it's going to be a strong run through January, is what I'm seeing short term over the next quarter. So it's just will a dip come in? Like you said, maybe not. It's we try to, and the bulls are strong. So
They are.
at this point now, if we start taking out some of these higher lows on a daily chart, we're going to get some serious selling.
Yeah.
And I think a 5%er could be around the corner dip, and I'm looking to buy it on up so we can run out the rest of this year. So that's my plan. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
As always, put your risk on that you're okay to lose because you got a 50-50 shot, flip a coin. But if that does play out, it'll be a really good end of the year.
Yeah.
And then ticker wise, I'm really liking Tesla right now. I bought Tesla probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's been in a pennant pattern. It's been compressing. It's still hanging out, but I do feel like its $400 target really wants to play by the end of the year, probably. So that would be I've got money in the game on that one. I feel like that's probably where Tesla's going to want to get to. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. And that the sentiment on that one has been beat up pretty bad just with the whole political nonsense. But I did notice on the daily chart, the series of higher lows that are coming in, there's been a trend line formed. So I was just talking about that one this morning. It looks like it's primed. So, and plus too, with Nvidia selling down today, who knows how long that'll last, but maybe some of the money's rotating there. One last question before we talk about real life trading, but in terms of your ongoing learning in trading, we're always trying to continue to refine and sharpen our edge. What do you do to just stay up to date with things happening in the market or just to keep your skills sharp? Do you have a process for that? Maybe people that you listen to or economists, people involved with the markets? Any tips
Yeah.
on your development as a trader?
Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of news and a lot of other traders, and they're great. For me, I have actually waned off of that over the last couple years, and I just focus on my charts. And of course, I pay attention to the news. Like not oblivious to it. I just take it for a grain of salt, and instead of me thinking that's good or bad, I watch and see how the markets react to it. That's been key for me. And so whenever I have a bias of this should be going down and it's going up, I normally that's where I do not want to be. And that's normally where I get to if I just watch too much news or if I listen to too much noise outside of my own trading. And so I'm still wrong half the time, but I know price action to be able to cut small and be able to win big. And when I am aligned with the markets, I press the gas and I really leverage that to be able to get ahead and make those rewards. So I do a little bit less when it comes to news and listening to news. Of course, again, I pay attention, but it's more of how the markets react to it. And to stay sharp, I still, even to this day, do a lot of back trading. That's how I discover a lot of different tricks and tips. And honestly, seasonality wise of the markets, you'll have certain times where it's like engulfing candles are the key, like that's the trigger. And you'll have certain times where you're looking for traps. You'll have certain times where certain things work really well. And going back and back trading the last couple months and doing that on a consistent basis has been a really good tip for what I've done this entire time to stay sharp on my skills of trading, to learn more things. Of course, I'm always learning more strategies. I'm always learning more option methods and trying to just grow in my knowledge overall. This year, I'd say the last 2 years, really, I've been focusing a lot more on like delta and gamma levels and options and how I
Mm.
can use those to figure out where large levels could potentially be, where support and resistance aren't showing. And so just trying to always learn and grow, figure out new things, and then I normally will play around with it for a year before I start putting it into my trading. Test it. I don't want to just be like, this worked one time. I'm gonna go do this. But yeah, always learn, always grow. If you can keep the mindset of a student, even when you feel like you're like, for me, I don't want to be the master. The master to me is like someone that stops. I've got it. I've arrived. I don't want to arrive. I want to keep that student mindset. Like there's always more to learn. There's always more to go. Stay humble and let the markets teach you has always worked for me. And whenever I'm like, I'm good, I got this. Years and years of making really good returns on credit spreads got me to a place where I was like, I'm good. And it punished me. I had to learn that lesson of keep going, never become complacent, always learn, always grow, and stay humble. Like, again, I am not going to view my people can say whatever they want. For me personally, I am not a master. I have not arrived. I want to keep that mindset of learning and growing and constantly progressing.
Yeah, that's why you're such a not a great just a great trader, but a great human being.
Thank
So let's bring it home with this real life trading. You talked about Newsom there a little
you. Yeah.
earlier, being your mentor. He was mine as well. Still stay in touch with him. Great guy. But now you are the man of real life trading. Talk to us what you guys got going on over there. I know great group of people, DJ Dan, Marta, Johnny,
Oh yeah.
just an amazing group of traders and human beings.
It's such a special community. I'm a product of real life trading. When I found it, it's this environment where the egos aren't there, the show off isn't there. It's like everyone is, we've been where you are. When I didn't know what a candle was, they're like, yeah, at some point I didn't know what a candle was too. This is how I learned it. It was such a warm, welcoming environment, and that's what we've continued to carry on over the years to this point, where people come and they're like, this is a different community in the sense of we're all focused on the goal of helping everyone learn and to grow and become a trader. We don't show up with the expectations like you should know this. I've been in communities like that, and I don't want that. I want to have this community where any level can show up, whether you've been trading for 20 years or 2 months or 2 days and have that warm welcome that fits the environment that you want. And so real life trading is continuing to grow and evolve. And We still, again, do live trading and live sessions. That's where I believe the best way to learn is to watch my screen every day and ask me questions. Tony, why are you bullish right here? I was looking bearish. Why did you think about that? Why are you so concerned about that candle? Why is that indicator on your chart or not on your chart? Ask questions in a live environment when the markets are open is powerful. So we still do that and have a community out there where we can post trades and all that stuff. We do trade alerts and really with the education in mind of we don't want to just give you a fish, we want to teach you how to fish. And that's always been the mindset. And we continue on that stay. So it's a great place to learn and to grow. And it's the most effective way that I know how to teach someone how to trade in a safe and quick way where they can have the foundations to go out on their own and do what they want to do without being like, I need this person to tell me what to do. It's you learned it. So that's still the mantra over here at Real Life Trading. And that's still what we're doing to this day.
Awesome. And I'll make sure that I link that in the show notes so people can check that out. But Tony, I want to thank you, man, so much for taking the time to sit here and share with the listeners your journey and all the trials that you've been through to get where you are today. Your story is definitely going to impact people positively out there. You got a great spirit and just really appreciate you and want to thank you for coming on here today.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, Tony, you have a great weekend and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
You bet.
All right, take care.